Hey monkeys, it's Jim from Small Time Outlaws, and I'm bringing you a brand new series on creating a simple but full game from start to finish. And just so you can see what we're going to be creating, I have the full finished game right here. And you can see this is our nice menu, wonderful graphics. You can choose how many players you want to have, and this is just your basic following game. You just keep following and following. You can't hit the top and you can't hit the bottom, and then the goal is to see who can fall the longest and last the longest. Pretty great, huh? So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so open up your favorite IDE. In this case, I've got Ted running, and we're going to create two new files. And as you can see, I've created my folder. It's two game. The first file is going to be called main for our main file, and then the next file is going to be, we're going to call it falling, and this falling is just going to be just a module you're going to be creating for all your extra classes in the game. And so we'll just call that falling. And inside our falling module, what we're going to go ahead and do is import mojo, because we're going to be importing this module in our main file, so we don't need to import mojo twice or anything. And then we're just going to set up the shell for our first class, and this first class is just going to be handling the players in the game, so each player is going to be an instance of the player class. And we don't need to add any code for right now. All we're doing is just setting up the basic framework for our application, so we can get a basic screen rendering and then move on to the next video. So now back in our main monkey file, we're going to go ahead and import that following module we just created. And now the next thing we're going to do is define a few constants that will designate which state our game is currently in. And then further down in our code, we're going to be using select and case statements to check the state of our game and then perform different functionality based on which state. So just so you can see what I'm talking about, our first constant, we'll call it, this is going to be for our main menu screen. So it's going to be state menu, and assign it 0. It doesn't matter what number you actually give it, as long as they're all different. And the next one I'm going to call state game. So this is when our game is actually running. So we're going to handle all of our game controls and our game screen rendering when it's in state game. And then finally, state death for when everybody dies. And set that to 2. Now I'm going to create the main class for our game, which has to extend the app class that comes with Mojo. And I'm going to call it falling game, and then I'm going to extend app. Now if you don't know about extending app and Mojo and all that, you should definitely check out my using Mojo tutorial series before checking out this one, stupid cat. Alright, so now we're going to create first we're going to create a field. This is going to hold the current game state, and by default we're going to go ahead and initialize it with our main menu state. Now we're going to create our app function overrides. So the first one being onCreate. And all we're going to do in onCreate is just set the update rate to, I go with 60, you can go with 30 if you want, or anything else. I like 60 because it's pretty fast and it keeps the controls nice and responsive as well. And so now the next one, go ahead and on update. And inside the on update, we're going to use a select statement on our game state to check which one it is, and then use case statements to do something based on what it is. So right now it's state menu, so we're going to check for that one first. So as long as this game state equals state menu, we're going to perform just this code during our on update. And in this case, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be waiting for the player to hit enter, and so the enter key is going to signify, hey, I'm ready to start the game. So what we'll do, we'll check for a key hit, and then we're going to check for the key enter using the key enter constant that comes with Mojo. And then when we do that, we're going to set the game state to state game. And now I'm going to close this off, and I'm going to close off the select. Actually, first, let's go ahead and set up our other states just for fun. Okay, state game is not going to do anything right now, and then state death. Also not going to do anything right now. Now moving on to our next override method, we're going to call it onRender. And what we're going to do is we're going to clear the screen black. And it's going to do this no matter what state it's in. Now we're actually going to check the game state, and then we're going to decide what to draw on top of our nice black screen. So now we check for each state, menu, game, death, and we can close our little select statement off. And for now, right now we're just going to do a basic little menu. So we're going to draw some text to the screen using the default draw text function that comes with Monkey. I'm going to say this is our falling game. And we're going to draw it right smack dab, well, somewhere in the middle. And center it vertically using the half value. And then we're going to say, hey, press enter to play. And we're going to put that down below towards the bottom of the screen, then center it vertically as well. And finally, we need to create our main function. So let's create the main function. And all we're going to do is just call new falling game, and that's going to start our game. So you see my class name is falling game, create a new instance of it, and then Mojo takes over from there. And whoops, forgot to close off the onRender method. And now let's go ahead and run this. So you can see, here's our falling game. When we say this right now, it's rendering the menu, it's in the menu state, and now when we press enter, it's going to go into the game state. So there's nothing in the game state render, so it's just going to render nothing. So that's the start. This is the start of our game. It all starts right here. And so join me in the next video. We're going to continue on, start drawing stuff. So see you there.